Hello, I'm planning to walk the Camino de Santiago, which means I'm going to need a rucksack, and the internet tells me I'm going to need a rucksack with between 35 and 60 litres of capacity, and YouTube videos on the Camino show that lots of people like to use Osprey rucksacks, which seems a safe, easy choice to make. So I've been on their website and here's a summary of the rucksacks they do for hiking. It might look a bit complicated, but they just do two basic types of rucksack. A standard weight one that weighs between 1.4 and 1.8 kilograms depending on the capacity, and a special lightweight one that weighs just over a kilogram. Looking on the feedback on the internet, people say the lightweight one has had some of the padding reduced to keep the weight down, and for long walks it's not all that comfortable. So I think for the Camino, where you're walking all day every day for 5 or 6 weeks, the standard weight one is the way to go. And they do two different types of harness for the standard rucksack. They do a standard one with the normal padding, and they do one which is especially designed for hot weather, which is the Stratus or the Cirrus. Here's a photograph from Osprey's website, and you can see what they call the trampoline suspension backrest, and it's a mesh that holds the rucksack completely away from your back. So I think in hot weather this would be great. And also the shoulder straps have sections taken out of the padding to help ventilation as well. If I was going in the summer to the Camino, I would definitely take the Stratus or the Cirrus because it's very hot. But because I'm going when the weather's cooler, and because I think there must be some compromise in the Stratus and the Cirrus harness, because otherwise if it was just as good as a standard one, they would just sell that one. They wouldn't bother having two different types. So I've decided to go for the Kestrel or the Kyte. So the standard weight rucksack with the standard harness is the Kestrel for men and the Kyte for women, and here's a table showing the capacities, weights and costs. Well, I'm a man, in case you haven't noticed, and I'm 6'2", so I need a large medium Kestrel, and I've got two here. This is the Kestrel 48 and this is the Kestrel 38, if I can hold that so you can see the number. They are very, very similar. And in fact the difference in capacity is about the size of this box, which is, this box is 9.88 litres, but they've got a difference in 10 litres. There is a small difference. But more interestingly, the difference in weight on my scales is 125 grams, which is the weight of these two pencils, a pen and a small paperback book. And in fact Osprey say on their website the difference is 250 grams. Well, a banana weighs 180 grams, so the difference is quite small, I suppose because the material is quite light, so it doesn't take that much more material for the extra capacity. So I think, although the gear I would take with me would fit in the 38 litre one, I like the idea of flexibility that, you know, in a sparsely populated area you might need to carry more food than normal. So having that extra space is good when you're doing the Camino. And also the Camino is quite a specific challenge to do. You don't need to take a tent or cooking equipment or camping equipment. So although you can get away with a small rucksack on the Camino, or smaller rucksack on the Camino, if you want to get more use out of your rucksack, providing it's not completely worn out by doing the Camino, I think the larger capacity one for the small amount of extra weight, I think it's worth getting the bigger one, the 48 litre one. And in fact I've taken the tags off that one and I'm going to keep it, and I'm going to send back the 38 litre one. So that's my decision. So now I will show you the Kestrel 48 in exquisite detail, and I shall start off on the outside. This is the outside. On the back it's got quite a good mesh area there, and that's large enough so that I'll be able to store my lightweight waterproof trousers on the top. That's quite a useful storage area to have, so you don't have to open up and get your clothes wet if it's raining. It has these little attaching points in case you want to tie anything onto the back. And on the side it has pockets that are large enough to hold an 800 milliliter water bottle. So they're quite a good size, I thought, quite a good size. But it also has at the back a place you can put what they call a hydration system, which is really a plastic water bottle that can contain between 3 and 2 litres. You can see where my arm's going. And it's quite expensive. I think it's about £36 for the 3 litre one, but it includes the pipe and there's all sorts of valves and things like that to make it easier to use. And at the bottom there's a little hole, so if your hydration system leaks, I think that's where the water comes out, where you spill any water in there. The back has this quite good padding, and there's a mesh over the top, and the padding is ridged so to help air circulate, and also there's large areas have been removed to let air circulate so you don't get a sweaty back. And the back is adjustable by using this velcro. Do it, and then you can slide the back up and down, and then push it down to lock it where you want it to be. And on the back here it says it's medium large, and it can go between 19 and 24 inches, whatever that means, but that's the amount of adjustment it's got. It's got the place here where you can store your trekking poles as you're walking along, and they've put a little trekking pole symbol so you know that's what it's for. The padding is quite reasonable on the straps, and it's quite comfortable when I've been trying it out. On each hip belt there's a little pocket, but it's not very big. I can just about get my fist in. I was hoping they'd be bigger so I could put more things in there, but I think of some little knickknacks to go into there. And on the top there is a storage area. Show you that. On the top there's a storage area, and that's just about big enough to be able to store 2 loaves of bread, and each loaf is 800 grams. Just squash it in a bit. I don't mean you should store bread in here, but this is just to give you an idea of the volume. That's how much you can store in the lid of the rucksack. And on each side of the rucksack there's a zip that runs the length of it, and on one side it goes right into the main body of the rucksack, so you can get to your things without having to go in through the top or the bottom. And on the other side there is a separate pocket, and it runs the length of the bag, but it's got its own compartment. And using my bread measuring system, there's enough room, just about 1.5 loaves, 800 gram loaves of bread, to give you an idea of the size. But obviously the more you put in here, the less space there'll be on the inside, but it still gives you a bit of flexibility, and you can put like your mobile phone or any little knickknacks like that, any gadgets you have. At the bottom there's a separate place you can put your sleeping bag. And to give you an idea of the size, this sleeping bag is 32 centimetres across, 32 centimetres long, and it's 17 centimetres across. And at the bottom here is the integrated rain cape. It's got the attaches of a little toggle there, and it's a handy thing to have it all conveniently there. But also, if you buy an Osprey rucksack that doesn't have this included, and you buy it separately, it's £26. So that's something to take into account. It's sort of light green, but it's not high vis green. Put that back in. So that's everything on the outside, I think. And also on the outside, on the 48 litre Kestrel, there is a carrying handle, which is quite good, but on the 38 litre Kestrel you don't get that. And also on the 38 litre Kestrel you do not get this red strap that you can use to, if your things are spilling over the top, you can sort of anchor them down with. So on the inside we've got a meshed area on the underside of the lid, and it's a pity it opens up that way, because I think it would have been a nice place to put your washing, you know, your socks and pants. You're trying to dry them off from the day before, and you could walk along in the sunny weather and dry them off, but it opens up so it'll be banging on the back of the head, so I don't think that would be very practical. So I shall now put some clothes in so you can see what the space means in practice. Right, so this is the inside of the Kestrel 48 rucksack, and it's got a rough guess of what I need to take with me on the Camino de Santiago. So inside I've got a sewing kit, a high-vis top, and some plastic bags and toilet paper, a lightweight jacket, spare pair of glasses, first aid kit, phone charger, European socket adapter, wash kit, Kindle, guidebook, Spanish dictionary. So that's all the, oh, and a torch, that's all the gadget type things. So pillowcase, a pair of trousers, a jumper, gloves and hat, bully hat, travel towel, 2 t-shirts, 2 pairs of pants, 2 pairs of socks, and a little pedometer gadget thing. So that's all of the clothes out. So here I am with everything in the rucksack that I demonstrated: the water bottles, the waterproofs, sleeping bags, the loaves of bread on the top, and the clothes and the gadgets. And all together at the moment that weighs about 10 kilograms. So it's just getting towards the top end of what you should carry, although that includes water and bread, and not everyone includes that when they do their calculations. It feels quite comfortable, and one particular bit I like is, you can see there's a bit of a gap there between the back and the shoulders, and you just pull that forward and the pack fits against your back, and it does feel quite comfortable. And one of the things I found out while shopping for rucksacks is how to make sure you've got the right size, so that the top of the hip belt is right in line with the top of your hips. And if you're a woman, then women prefer it so that the middle of the hip belt is in line with the top of their hips. And then when you've done that, you do the belt up tightly, because the belt has to take 70% of the weight and your shoulders have to take 30%, so that's something to keep in mind as well. And then you adjust the back. And then you adjust the sliding up and down back, so that the back of the rucksack, the top of the rucksack, is just in line with your shoulders like that. The sizes of Osprey rucksacks are described as either medium small or large medium, so hopefully there's enough flexibility that most people can find a rucksack that fits them. Although I'm 6'2", and I find the most comfortable setting for the backrest is when it's at maximum extension, so if you're quite tall, that's something to be aware of. So that's it. So I decided to get an Osprey because they seem quite popular, and I was able, by looking online, to decide the one I wanted. I'm sure there are other rucksacks out there which are just as good, but I just decided to get this one, and I'm happy with it. For the price, it seems fine. So I hope that's been useful to you. If you have any comments, please put them down below, but otherwise, thank you very much and goodbye.